This is Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. It's 10 o'clock. Your headlines. The pressure ramps up on the Speaker. 51 MPs and counting sign a motion of no confidence in Sir Lindsay Hoyle following the Commons' chaos over Gaza yesterday. At the heart of the debate, the violence in the Middle East. One person is killed in a suspected shooting at an Israeli checkpoint in the West Bank. Anti-Muslim hate rises. Cases more than quadruple following October's deadly attack on Israel. Also ahead, menopause matters. Bosses told to adjust the workplace for women or risk being sued. Weekend warriors, the citizen soldiers in Estonia training to defend their country against the threat from Russia. Time for touchdown. Another lunar lander attempts to reach the moon tonight. A very good morning to you. 51 MPs and counting have now declared no confidence in the Speaker of the House of Commons, leaving Sir Lindsay Hoyle fighting for his political future after causing chaos in Parliament yesterday. He was forced to apologise last night as MPs walked out of the chamber over his decision to break with convention over a debate about a call for a ceasefire in Gaza.
And I've got to say, I regret how it's ended up. It was not my intention. I wanted all to ensure they could express their views and all sides of the House could vote.
Well, yesterday, SNP and some Conservative MPs left the Commons in protest over his decision to allow a vote on a Labour amendment to a Scottish National Party proposal, which led the SNP's Leader of the House, Stephen Flynn, to question the Speaker's future.
Mr. Speaker, whilst I acknowledge your apology, the reality is that you were warned by the clerks of the House that your decision could lead to the SNP not having a vote, that is treating myself and my colleagues in the Scottish National Party with complete and utter contempt. And I will take significant convincing that your position is not now intolerable.
Well, today there are big questions about whether Sir Lindsay was put under pressure by Sir Keir Starmer to make the change. This morning, Labour's Pat McFadden said the Speaker had acted in good faith but admitted he had met with the party leader ahead of the debate.
There were three propositions put forward on this issue of Israel and Gaza, one from the SNP, one from the Labour Party and one from the Conservative Party. And he decided, because of the importance of the issue, to put all three before the House of Commons. And he did that in good faith, and he won't have expected, when he did that, to have seen the scenes that we saw in Parliament.
What sort of a manipulation was afoot there?
There's no manipulation. The Speaker takes his own decisions.
Did Sir Keir go and see him?
Yes, Sir Keir saw him, and the Chief Whip saw him.
In the Speaker's house?
I'm not sure where, but I believe they met.
Was that appropriate?
Yeah, people make representations all the time.
Let's bring in our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates, who's in Westminster. Sam, I'm going to start in reverse order with the latest news. 51 MPs signing an early day motion. Just remind us what an early day motion is and how significant it is that it's gaining more signatures.
Click, 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 click. That number is ticking up. Those are the names going on, as you say, an early day motion. In many ways, a sort of meaningless piece of what my colleague John Craig calls parliamentary graffiti. But in another way, that is the thing that could well spell out the end of Lindsay Hoyle's speakership. It is a non-binding device that MPs can use to indicate their support or their lack of support, and it is the names on that list that's growing increasingly ominous for Lindsay Hoyle. Just look at some of them. Sir Graham Brady, he's the chairman of the 1922 committee, the sort of convener of Tory backbenchers. Look at the number of SNP MPs on that list. The reason this is so serious for Lindsay Hoyle, Wilf, is that it appears that he is in the process of losing the confidence of the third biggest party in Westminster, the SNP, and the rump of Tory backbenchers. And if you lose just those two groups alone, then it's really, really hard to continue to oversee the Commons, something you can only really do with the consent of the Commons. It's what? 51 out of 650 MPs. So it's about a 12th of MPs at the moment. If you get to 10% of the Commons, it just really does look incredibly difficult to cling on. And I know lots of names, ministers, for example, who think that Lindsay Hoyle should stand down, who have no confidence in Lindsay Hoyle, but have not signed the early day motion because ministers don't do that. And one party, in particular Labour, with some support from the Lib Dems, are seeking to keep Lindsay Hoyle in place. That's not a great look. And the fact that a minister says they're not sure that they can support Lindsay Hoyle in public, the wind is just blowing in one direction and one direction only.
So, Sam, I mean, what happens next? Because I imagine a lot of people watching, listening to you, myself included, will say, well, actually 10% criticising or not having confidence isn't a majority. So how does it get to a point where actually it's a step down? Is it just it gets to 10 or 20% and he thinks I have to do the gracious thing and stand down? Or is there a formal procedure and vote where we'll all be on tenterhooks, kind of like we were back in 2015 with the previous speaker, Mr. Burko, about whether he's going to survive or not?
That's a really good question. I think it is precisely because we went through what was going on with John Burko in 2016 that things might well happen differently now. And I don't think that formal mechanisms to drag the Speaker from his chair are where we will get to in this. Yes, it is something like a 12th of the Commons at the moment who've signed their lack of support for Lindsay Hoyle. But the problem is, this isn't like a vote. This isn't like a vote on a piece of partisan legislation. The Speaker can only do what he does in the chair, and he's the sort of fulcrum of trust in the public's trust in Parliament in one seat. He can only do what he does if he commands the respect of all sides of the House. And Wilf, he's lost an entire political party. Look at the colours that ring those circles that you're looking at. There's lots of blue, but there's even more yellow, SNP yellow. He appears like he's on the precipice of losing the entire SNP Westminster caucus. How can you be Speaker of the House of Commons if the third biggest party says they have no confidence in you because you rip up the rules willy-nilly in order to support the bigger parties, the party that you used to be a member of? That just feels really difficult to overcome. So you asked what will happen. I think that Lindsay Hoyle made very clear last night when he stood up apologetically and admitted that he got things wrong yesterday and said that he would reflect on where he was and have those conversations today. At some point, and it might be today, it might be next week, Lindsay Hoyle's going to have to come back to MPs and tell them, having reflected, what he's concluded. And if Stephen Flynn did what Stephen Flynn, he's the SNP Westminster leader, kind of indicated he's very likely to do and continues to say, I just think you've got to go, does Lindsay Hoyle fight that? Or does he accept that maybe his time is up? I think this is all down to Lindsay Hoyle's own decision-making about what to do next.
You mentioned the tick-tick, Sam, at the start of your piece here. We're up to 53. I don't know if you can see that on the lower third there of the screen. So it's continuing to tick up. What about Sir Keir Starmer in this? How much of a revelation was it to you that Pat McFadden obviously confirmed this morning with Kay the reports that we got yesterday that he'd gone to see Sir Lindsay Hoyle before this debate? Is that very normal? Does it happen all the time? Or was it highly controversial, even foolish, of Sir Keir Starmer to personally go and see him, whatever they discussed yesterday before this debate?
So I take a slightly more sort of veteran, cynical attitude to all of that. Lobbying of the Speaker and lobbying of the Speaker's office by all political parties takes place the whole time. It's a function of our political system, and it's in some ways completely right that politicians should be allowed to make their case both about procedure and about how Parliament works and how the Commons works in private, just as they do in the Commons chamber in public. So it shouldn't really be a matter of great outrage unless there was some allegation of bullying or threats. And there's no allegation, I think, connected to Keir Starmer that that's the case. There was a little bit of reporting elsewhere suggesting that some Labour voices were suggesting to Lindsay Hoyle that they might not back him for Speaker after the next election if he didn't help out yesterday. I do not know whether that's true. That is denied by the Speaker's office. But I think it's perfectly fine for anybody up to and including Keir Starmer to walk into the Speaker's office if he so chooses and make an argument about, well, whatever he wants. It seems in this case it was about the safety of MPs and why you should let the vote go ahead in the way that Labour wanted, ripping up convention, because that's the only way to ensure MPs' safety. People will take a view on whether that's fair or not. But I don't have a problem. I don't think many people in Parliament really have a problem with that. It's only a problem if it sort of tiptoed into threat. The problem really just lies with the Speaker. The fact that having been lobbied, if he listened to one side more than he listened to the others, that's when it's difficult. But that's why the whole thing rests on the shoulders today of Lindsay Hoyle rather than anybody else in what was undoubtedly a pretty unedifying spectacle yesterday.
We're up to 54, by the way, Sam. In terms of what was said yesterday and the explanations that have been given since, I just wanted to read you this coming from Tobias Elwood, of course, had some protests outside his home in his constituency recently. He says, on the topic of MP safety, it's an issue for MPs on all sides that we're increasingly worried about, but totally wrong for the Speaker to start making judgments about parliamentary motions on this basis. What's your take on that?
I mean, that's the argument, right? The Speaker was given formal advice by his clerks to follow the precedent when it comes to what issues are put to a vote, right? Now, there's a reason that there is a precedent that's set like that, which is it protects... Yesterday was an SNP opposition day. They should be able to control the order paper, control the agenda and have votes on what they want. And if you start ripping up the precedent, then the SNP don't get the votes that they, thought that they were entitled to. Lindsay Hoyle ripped up the rules that safeguarded the smallest party, and Tobias Elwood's point is simply reflecting that. And I do think that a lot of people in Parliament think that that's a surprise and a problem, and it undoubtedly benefited the Labour Party because Keir Starmer didn't, therefore, as a result of Lindsay Hoyle's actions, face the rebellion that he was fearing that was going to be incredibly painful. Labour dodged an absolute bullet in all of this yesterday, and the SNP didn't get their way. That's why there is a problem today. It looks as if the Speaker, although he denies it, did something partisan. Since we're reading things to each other, let me read you something from a Tory minister. They said Tory MPs are united in the fact that Lindsay has compromised his integrity in the integrity of the House. His position is untenable and his days are numbered. And that is from a minister, Wilf, whose name does not appear in the 54 MPs that have signed the early day motion. There are plenty of people who think that Lindsay Hoyle should go who haven't shown their hand, but the 54 names that have shown their hand are significant ones. They include Graham Brady, the chairman of the backbench Tory 1922 committee. It's this tick, tick, tick. People don't really take their names off early day motions. The number's only going to go up, and there's a long way on this to go because the meetings with party leaders and senior party figures and Lindsay Hoyle hasn't taken place. We haven't heard Lindsay Hoyle's conclusions. It just feels really bad.
What's really interesting to me now, I mean, clearly the implication from what a cabinet minister's just texted you is that the government position is the same as the 1922 leadership position, which is clearly highly significant, even if they're not going to table something to show it publicly. The question is whether that is enough for the Speaker to take note and to fall on his sword, or whether he will fight to the last day. I mean, Mr. Bercow pretty much did fight to the last day on a number of challenges against him. Are they similar characters in that regard, or are they different characters? I had Lindsay Hoyle on a few weeks ago, and I think he talks often, which is kind of ironic, actually, given where we are on all this, so much about doing what's right, about taking the higher ground and that sort of sentiment. So are we just waiting to see if he lives up to that or whether he stands firm?
Lindsay Hoyle worked incredibly hard to restore and repair the reputation of the speakership. I don't know what's in his head right now. Nobody knows what's in his head right now. But what I did see yesterday when he came back to the Commons chamber was a chastened, emotional, apologetic, nervous Speaker, knowing that he was staring his own staring his own fate in the mirror, knowing that the next 24 hours was going to involve conversation that would decide on his fate. There are lots of different outcomes. You know, he may just decide to announce that he's stepping down as Speaker in the election. He may decide that he's going immediately. He may decide to fight this and cling on, assuming and hoping that he's just simply got the parliamentary numbers. I think it's not quite right to say that the government has decided that he should go. Ministers are texting us privately because it isn't the government's formal position. That alarm not signifying the end of Lindsay Hoyle, simply a fire alarm here in our Westminster office. But I think that you do have a groundswell of support for change as a result of Lindsay Hoyle's measures yesterday, and I don't think that number's going to stay on our screen at 54. I think there's a very high chance it goes up, and with just that sense of support draining away is really, really bad.
Given that you referenced the fire alarm there, let's listen to Lindsay Hoyle's apology yesterday that you just referenced.
I was very concerned, I am still concerned, and that's why the meetings I've had today is about the security of members, their families, and the that are involved. And I've got to say, I regret how it's ended up. It was not my intention. I wanted all to ensure they could express their views and all sides of the House could vote. As it was, in particular, the SNP were ultimately unable to vote on their proposition. I am, and I regret, with my sadness, that it's ended up on like that, in this position. That was never my intention for it to end up like this. I was absolutely convinced that the decision was done with the right intentions. I recognise the strength of feeling of members on this issue. Clear today has not shown the House at its best. I will reflect on my part in that of the course I recommit myself to ensuring that all members of this House are treated fairly.
So interesting, Sam, because watching that clip back, there's a sort of sentiment, I don't think it's the chief sentiment, where he was sort of even interrupted there when he was making his apologies, that if the school teacher does something wrong, then the kids are going to have a field day on that particular day. If they've been bossed around, as they might see it, for most of their careers by this individual, then if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. But very interesting what's going on. We're looking at the number 54 at the moment. Sam, just remind us why this all matters. What is the role of the Speaker, and how are they chosen in the first place?
To maybe tortuously extend your analogy, Wilf, the reason it matters is because there isn't a head teacher in these situations. The Speaker is drawn from the ranks of MPs, and the job of the Speaker is to almost represent the public in the Commons chamber, to oversee fairly and evenly proceedings so that the public can have trust that things are done properly. And that's why yesterday's allegation of bias, be it fair, be it not fair, Lindsay Hoyle rejects that, is so serious. It's an allegation of bias at the detriment of smaller parties, and the Speaker's primary job is to stand up for everybody, even those who are not part of the government, especially those who are not part of the government. And so, and in places and systems where fundamental pillars of our democracy, of key elements of trust start to crumble, then bad things start to happen. But if I may just change gears slightly, Wilf, we can piece together a little bit more, I think, right now of what's going on and what might happen today. Now it's 10:30 on a Thursday, almost 10:30 on a Thursday. Thursday's pretty much the last active day of the Commons of the week. There's occasionally proceedings on a Friday, but this is the last day when MPs are in large numbers around, and we haven't yet got the times of the meetings that Lindsay Hoyle is having with people like Stephen Flynn and people like Penny Mordaunt, and we're not going to hear anything until those meetings have taken place. So the big conclusion, I think, that we can draw from all of that, or the inference we can draw from that, is that I don't think we're going to get a statement from Lindsay Hoyle today. I think that the question about the Speaker's future will now likely go into the weekend. I think he's being urged not to do anything precipitous by his allies. He will want to speak to people. An hour and 90 minutes or so, he was touring the tea room. He was clearly getting support from Labour, but support from one or two parties, particularly vociferous, aggressive support from one or two parties isn't just not enough, but may actually not be problematic if it adds the sense of a speaker just for one side. But I think he's going to want to take a little bit of time, take the weekend to work out whether the number that you're looking at your screen, the 53 figure, goes up. He's going to want to have those conversations with the leading representatives of all the political parties to find out whether truly the Conservative Party and the SNP have any faith in him anymore. And he's going to want to sort of read the political ruins, and work out what's best for him and what matters. So I think an incredibly difficult day for him personally. I think Lindsay Hoyle worked incredibly hard to restore trust in the speakership after taking over from the highly controversial John Bercow. But in the end, yesterday morning, possibly at the behest of the Labour Party, ignoring the advice of his officials in order to make a ruling that clearly advantaged one party, whether that was his intention or not, has wounded, has damaged him, and he must reflect on whether that damage is fatal or he can fight it.
Sam, great stuff as always. We should mention, by the way, as you see on the bottom of the screen, back down to 53 from 54. That's down to miscounting as opposed to someone specifically withdrawing it. But we're still at 53. Sam, don't go far. We're going to take a very quick break, and no doubt we will lean on your perspectives again in just a moment. We'll also go live to Central Lobby in Parliament for an update there after this short break.
US correspondent based here in Los Angeles.
It's turning everybody into, a crazy, violent drug addict.
How are you feeling?
I am angry.
Are you a hypocrite, sir? Will your candidates win?
I hope so.
I gotta be realistic. My sister's dead.
More than 4 weeks on, there's no murder weapon and no suspect. Mum, how are you feeling today?
Jeffrey said, you answer to Ghislaine, you just don't cross her.
I'm so excited.
Severe nightmares of these people coming in and just taking me in the middle of the night.
I've watched as whole towns were torn apart by natural disaster.
I'm alive and I'm thankful for that.
We take you to the heart of the stories which shape our world.
A lot of cases that I know are reported from Ukrainian missiles themselves.
Ambassador, with respect, I think that's preposterous.
Welcome back. We're up to 55 MPs who have signed a no confidence motion, an early day motion in the Speaker, Sir Lindsay Hoyle. Let's bring back in our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates. You have a further update for us, Sam?
Tick, tick, tick. The number's going up, and every time the number goes up, it's painful. One more update for you. It's actually brought to you from my colleague Beth Rigby. She is reporting that the SNP are now demanding that the Speaker make a personal statement. So come and sit in the chair and make a statement about meetings and communications with Keir Starmer and Labour ahead of yesterday's motion. So, in other words, the SNP are demanding that Lindsay Hoyle set out who he spoke to and what they said. Now, we know that Lindsay Hoyle spoke to Keir Starmer because Pat McFadden confirmed that to Kay Burley earlier. We would assume that there were lots of conversations between Labour whips and Lindsay Hoyle as well. And there are allegations which are denied by Lindsay Hoyle that there were also threats made by some on the Labour side against him, maybe threatening to dethrone him as Speaker after the election if he didn't help them yesterday. That's denied, but that's the kind of thing I think that the SNP will also be sniffing around. I think that there's a bigger significance, though, Will, to all of this, and that's that there's no sign that the SNP are letting up here. And if the SNP formally have no confidence in the Speaker, that means the third biggest party in the Commons have no confidence in the Speaker. And if the third biggest party in the Commons, plus the chair of the 1922 committee, Graham Brady, and a rump of Tory MPs, and then there are quite a lot of people in private who are telling me that they don't have confidence in him, that is a very, very difficult situation from a Speaker whose job is to represent all sides. If he's lost entire political parties, and that demand from the SNP makes it look like he's not having any success getting the SNP back on side, that is a potentially fatal problem for him. Even if we're not going to hear anything from him today, the number ticking up and demands like that from Stephen Flynn and his Westminster team just doesn't look good.
Sam, stay there for us. I want to come back to you in just a moment, but first let's now go to Central Lobby in Parliament, where Matthew Thompson's standing by. And Matthew, what is the mood there, and what are you picking up from MPs? You know, we're talking about this number up to 55, I think. Do you get the feeling it's in reality a bit more than that, whether people have signed a document or not?
I think it could well be. I mean, having conversations around the corridors of power in here this morning, the mood is sulphurous, really, following on from what Sam was saying. There are a lot of very angry people, the SNP for one, of course, but also on the Conservative backbenches and even higher than that. And one comparison that keeps being made to me is Speaker Michael Martin, who faced 48 hours of similar pressure, but resigned on a day when 22 signatures were added to a motion of no confidence tabled against him. Now we're above 50 on this early day motion, which gives a sense of the scale of the problem. And that comparison has been drawn several times in reference to perhaps Lindsay Hoyle should be considering his position. But I did have one very interesting chat with a senior Conservative, a former cabinet minister, in fact, who made the point that, yes, my party colleagues are very angry, but this person said, well, what does that look like to the public outside? They don't see, this person said to me, the debates on arcane procedure. All they see is a party that has defenestrated 2 MPs and is now gunning for the Speaker. We look like, and this is a direct quote, we look like thugs and bullies. So there are concerns also from within the Conservative Party about how this plays with the public, and that people are watching on, seeing the chaos of last night, and then the chaos running into tomorrow, and goodness knows how long this will run, but that may not actually play. As much as temperatures are rising in here and people are very angry, if they take a step back and think about it logically, it may not be something that plays particularly well with the public as we head into what's widely expected to be a general election year.
Matthew and Sam, do stick close, because I have about 17 questions I want to get to with both of you in just a moment. First, we're going to have a quick look at the weather.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
It will be unsettled again today and will feel colder than recently as temperatures return to near average for February. Much of England and Wales will start the afternoon wet, with heavy downpours bringing the risk of hail, thunder. The very latest from Westminster on the future of Sir Lindsay Hoyle as Speaker.
Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa will provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie, and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting
This is
worldwide,
Starr Radio
online
UK.
24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. Hold the world in your hands.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Thursday edition of the morning show. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Well, let me say good morning to my colleagues and my producers, all those behind the scenes. I said those who work behind the scenes. I'm Mr. Francis Guy, good morning to you. Mr. Lion Mikoike, good morning to you. Mr. Frank Davids, good morning to you. Kevin Bossman, good morning to you. And let me say good morning to Bishop Adeshina, Anthony Adedeji Aziz, good morning to you as well. And a special good morning to Pastor Momo, wherever you are. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, man of God, I hope you are feeling much better. Massive good morning to you and to all. Kojo D, yes, Kojo, good morning to you. To Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, how are you doing, sir? I hope you are doing great. Welcome to the program once again. Well, from now till 12 o'clock, I'm going to be your captain, bringing you everything that you need to know. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial, Starr Radio UK. Well, I'm going to start with the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. And then from then, we go on to look at the details of all the stories. Yes. From Nigeria. We started to the UK, where we end. Well, so by 12 o'clock, the program will be brought to a close there. So, wherever you are, don't touch the dial. This is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So the quote for the day says, focus on acquiring more and more of relevant knowledge, not just general knowledge. Focus on getting the relevant knowledge pertaining to your profession or your work, whatever things that you are looking at. And I can tell you that you will be good, but you have to acquire general knowledge as well. Well. Listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to the weather front, what has the weather got in stock for you? Well. We're going to be having, for London and the southeastern part of England, we're going to be having what? Let me tell you. This morning we'll see cloudy skies and a band of rain moving southeastwards. The skies will remain cloudy early in the afternoon with more rain moving in. Bright breaks will develop later though. Now this evening will start dry with clear skies for all. These conditions will persist for much of the overnight period before patchy cloud and showers move in from the west towards dawn. Now top of the temperature is going to be 13 degrees, the low is going to be 3 degrees, UV level low, pollution low, sunset 17:28, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:01 hours. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's go on to the travel this morning as well. What is your travels like? As I will say, keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. Now, those of you using the underground this morning, the central line has got minor delays. That aside, all the others are running a good service. London Tramlink has got part closures and London Overground part suspension there as well. But the DLR is running a good service. So please check before you leave. Now, when it comes to the major roads in London as well, apart from the North Circular A406 that has got serious delays, all the others have got no exceptional delays there, so you should be able to get to your appointment. The river bus is running a good service. The landing cable car is also running a good service there. And that brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update, and that is the National Rail. Keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. The Starr Radio UK travel update comes to every weekday from 10:40. So on the National Rail this morning, cross country has got minor delays. Gatwick Express, Great Western Railway, London North Eastern Railway, Mersey Rail, Southwestern Railway, Southeastern, Southern, Thameslink, and Transport for Wales are all experiencing minor delays. Also, Northern Rail and ScotRail are experiencing special service, are running a special service. So please check before you leave. And that is why I will say it once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the roads.
Till the end, you are right. One who took my.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London on this Thursday edition of the morning show. Do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Okay, so now we're going to go global trotting. So what are the news that is making around this morning? Yes, I'm going to be telling you more about all of that. So wherever you are, stay tuned, stay glued to your sets, and don't even think of touching what? The dial. Okay. All right. Starr Radio UK. So we're going to be starting as usual from Nigeria, where there are lots of stories. And once again, let me take this opportunity to say to the family of Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho, whose mom's burial took place yesterday, and everything that has gone on. We salute you, and we wish all the family our condolences. We extend our condolences to the family as well, and to all our Nigerian listeners, especially those of you in the southwest who managed to be on in that program or had to travel for that as well. So we're going to be telling you more about all that in a moment. Okay, so what is happening in Nigeria, where we kick off from? Please release Labour Party National Chairman Abore, detained Edo Chair, and others. We're going to tell you more about that. The federal government to resume direct cash transfers to 12 million Nigerians, and troops neutralize 8 insurgents in Kaduna. Onanuga charges EFCC, CBN to clamp down on Binance, Abochi, Forex, crypto platforms over Naira fallen value. And then ECOWAS co-founder Gowon urges body to lift sanctions on Nigeria, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. The co-founder Gowon is saying that they should lift those sanctions from those people. Now, Khalil Gaga is Nexim's bank executive director. Now, Tinubu to Afrexim Bank, we must give Nigerians excellent health care. And ASU tells federal government to honor agreement, and Wike pledges construction of Gwagwa, Karimo, Dede roads. Okay, so a lot more going to be coming your way from Nigeria on those fronts. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. Now, when it comes to the southeast as well, some of the stories making the rounds there. Let's see whether there have been any changes. Villagers recover abducted corpse in Enugu community. Okay, and then Hashim Ohenze asked Tinubu to implement 2014 confab recommendation. And what is that? Former Deputy Speaker dumps PDP to APC. I did say that yesterday. And supplying electricity or be kicked out of southeast. That's what the IPOP is telling the EEDC. Those are some of the stories making their headlines from Nigeria today. Now, when it comes to some other stories making the rounds on the African continent, Ghanaian socialite Hajia for real pleads guilty in 2 million romance scam case in the U.S. Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the South District of New York, disclosed the guilty plea, emphasizing the seriousness of the case. And then Somalia announces deal with Turkey to deter Ethiopia's access to sea through a breakaway region. And a ship carrying that have been dealt with caused a big stink in the south in South Africa. We did talk about that. Now, Kenyan police officers arrested over human smuggling claims. And DRC crisis, one of the most neglected in the world. The United States tells Rwanda and Congo they must walk the talk. So let's see. And then widow of slain president and 2 powerful officials among those who have been apprehended in that country in Haiti. Be telling you more about that. And the suspect in the Kenyan doomsday culture are ordered. I'll tell you more about that one as well. Then end support for M23. Pull troops out of DR Congo. That's what the French president is telling the Rwandan president. Well, Paul Kagame is going to succumb to that. Morocco's king holds Spain's prime minister. There are some of the stories making that. And DR Congo government dissolved after prime minister resigns. What has brought about that? We'll be telling you more about that. They just went for an election. We know that Tshisekedi won that election, but what is going on there? We'll be telling you all about that. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, another story is making the rounds in Africa. Still, this is around in Ghana. Afenya Makin must eschew arrogance, cultivate consensus building, former deputy leader is saying. And Sputnik vaccine scandal, some people wanted to set me up. Ajima Menu is saying, well, that is when they went to buy this COVID vaccine, the Sputnik brand, from Russia. They ordered it from Russia, and the price at which they were buying it, we could see that it was hyped. And they were saying, no, we didn't have direct access to the Russian government to buy those things from them, so they had to use middlemen and all that stuff to do it. And well, so I know that he's been moved from there, whether he's been sacked, whether he's been he's been taken to another ministry that I'm not very sure of, but there are some of the stories making the rounds. Well, in Ghana as well, people stranded as contractor locks up school over non-payment of debt by government. Well, desperate times calls for desperate measures, and that's exactly what has gone on. Coach Michael Osei expresses ambition for Ghana's national football team. Oh boy, I hope so. They always come out with stuff like that. Now, insider details of Akufo-Addo's meeting with MPs that led to resignation of Chaim Mensah Bonsu. Okay, I'll be telling you more about that. What made him now decide to resign? Okay, in other stories as well, in Ghana, well, our 2024 calendar will be disclosed before February ends. That is what the EC is saying. Well, and the e-levy generated 1.19 billion cedis in 2023. Deputy Finance Minister has disclosed. So who is the new Finance Minister now? Odopon Nkrumah deputizes Chaim Mensah on MPP Manifesto Committee. Those are stories making the rounds this morning. Well, Hajia for real pleads guilty in $2 million romance scam case. Okay, moving on to other stories making the round this morning as well. In other parts of the world, Rosenberg, how 2 years of war have changed Russia. It talks about Russia editor reports on a catalogue of drama, bloodshed, and tragedy since the war began. We'll be telling you more about that. And Kremlin lashes out after Biden aims barb at Putin. And then footballer Danny Alves guilty of nightclub rape. And South Africa's parliament impeaches top judge for what? And then U.S. hospital holds IVF after court says embryos are children. And historical sites in Afghanistan bulldozed for looting. Well, these are some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Let's come home here in the UK and let's tell you what is happening here as well. Well, yesterday wasn't a good day for the Speaker of Parliament. Speaker accused of party politics over Gaza vote. Sir Lindsay Hoyle is facing growing criticism over granting a vote on a Labour ceasefire motion. And the issue is 55 MPs has petitioned or have signed a no confidence plea against him. Will that bring about his sacking? Or are they going to vote on that as well? How is it going to all pan out? Now, police force failed women who were killed. Some of the stories making the rounds. And respect the menopause of face being sued. Firms told. It's quite an interesting one. But this and a lot more are going to be coming your way in what? In the next 56 minutes. And of course, some music as well. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Let's enjoy this music, and I will definitely be with you. Stay tuned. This is My Lover from Kwesi Shadrach Mensah Kwesi. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
Jesus, my Lord, you are enough. I never knew until I met you. My past you too. Your mercy, grace, Ayaba. Jesus, my Lord, you are enough. I never knew till I met you. My past you too. Mercy, grace, Ayaba. Come on, you are able.
More than able. My life in your hands. I am stable. You are able. More than able. My life in your hands. I am stable. You know the lie, your love is too much.
Everybody give him one a shot.
Jesus, my Lord, you are enough. I never knew until I met you. My past you took, your mercy, grace, in a box for great no. Jesus, my Lord, you are enough. I never knew until I met you. My past you took, your mercy, grace. Everybody, come on. More than able. My life in your hands. I am stable. You are able. More than able. My life in your hands. I am stable.
These are what y'all
You know the lie, your love is too much.
Come on.
You know the lie, your love is too much.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Give me too much.
Come on, my car.
Give me too much.
Give me too much.
Give me too much.
You better not stop the boss.
Oh, that is my lover from Shadrach Mensah, Chrissy Mensah. This morning, I hope that you've enjoyed that tune. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactement 11 minutes past 11. And we're going to be kicking it off with updates from Nigeria. As I said earlier on, exactly at 12 o'clock, the curtains will be brought down for the end of the program. Yes, tomorrow too will be finishing at 12 o'clock as well. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. Continue to keep your dial so long on Starr Radio, okay? After all, you know what? We are your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, okay? So what's happening? As somebody will say, what's up, Nigeria? Let me tell you what's up, Nigeria, this morning. Let's move on from there. As I did say earlier on, we salute everyone who was able to support the family of Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, who is in Germany, and the family for seeing to the final burial of the mom. Okay, we salute each and every one of you, and our condolences to the family for a great loss as well. Now, police have released the Labour Party National Chairman Aburi and detained Edo Chair and others. The National Chairman of the Labour Party, Bar Julius Aburi, who was arrested by policemen from Zone 5 headquarters in Benin City, Edo State on Wednesday evening, has been released from detention. Now, Aburi, it was gathered, was released around 3 a.m. On Thursday morning. The AIG in charge of the zonal headquarters, Mr. Arungwa Wazuli, had late on Wednesday night disclosed that the Labour Party National Chairman, the Edo State Chairman of the party, Kelly Agbalioi, and 3 others were arrested for conspiracy, brutal assault, attempted murder, and armed robbery, grievous harm, and conduct likely to cause breach of the peace. Now, speaking to some of his supporters and Labour Party faithfuls who were at the Zone 5 police headquarters at the time of his release, Aburi stated that what he suffered wasn't different from what other freedom fighters suffer all over the world. He added that his release by the police was affected by pressure mounted on the police from some quarters, now which he did not name, adding that assurances were given that the state party chairman, publicity secretary, and other Labour Party members earlier arrested alongside with him will be released later today. Now, Aburi, who berated the ruling All Progressive Congress for making life unbearable for Nigerians, my apologies, disclosed that since February 25, 2023 general elections, detractors of the Labour Party had not relented in instigating crisis within the party, adding that several petitions bordering on frivolous accusations had been written against him. He assured that neither him nor the party will be deterred from pursuing the goals of the Labour Party. So the question is, what exactly is going on in the Labour Party? Why are people pursuing such actions against supporters of the Labour Party or those who subscribe to the Labour Party? Why? What exactly is going on there? But looking at whatever has gone on at the moment, it looks like give a dog a bad name, then you can hang him. Because if they are there, opposition parties are there to critique government. Okay? If you say they are inciting people to demonstrate, it is a peaceful demonstration. I don't have a problem or trouble or challenge with that. But when it happens that you are virtually castigating them because they criticize government, then I think there is a problem there. So whether APC, whether it be PDP or whatever it is, I think that if we are talking about democracy, we have to understand that the opposition parties are part of the democracy. However, they need to come out when they are criticizing. It should be the truth. And again, if it is not the truth, we want the ruling government to come out to debunk whatever thing that they've said. But do we see anything of the sort? Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, 11:15, the time, the morning show, the program. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Now, the federal government has disclosed plans to resume direct cash transfers to the poorest and most vulnerable Nigerians. Now, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, disclosed this yesterday at the ministry's retreat held in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. According to the finance minister, the presidential panel on the social investment programs have prepared to go to Mr. President with an internal recommendation to restart the direct payment to the poorest and the most vulnerable. Now, everything is being done to ease the pain. We know that there's been about 3 million beneficiaries now, but given the way the rates have gone, there are probably another 12 million people or households that can benefit from that payment. The only thing delaying that is not waiting for the end of the report. It is something that the intervention is meant to happen immediately. We are experts in technology. The commitment was to make sure that we use technology to ensure that we have seamless payment, a seamless movement between the registered and direct beneficiaries without any manual process in between. So it's taking time to automate the process immediately. That direct payment will resume. The goal is to put feed into the mill, into the market, in an attempt to drive down the cost of food and make food available. Right now, there is the key priorities in terms of physical side, in terms of government side as well. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, moving on to still some stories making the rounds. Now, troops of the Nigerian army have neutralized 8 insurgents with their campaigns in recent offensives and recovered firearms, ammunition in Igabi, Jiwa, Benin, Gwari local government areas of the Kaduna State. The director, Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, said this in a statement on Thursday morning in Abuja. Now, Nwachukwu said the troops operating in the 1st Division area of the of responsibility engaged the insurgents in response to attacks against civilians in Igabi and the Jiwa local government areas. He said the troops came under fire from insurgents who employed rustled heads of cattle as shields while on a fighting patrol along Maganda, Luseye, Mugaba axis. According to him, the insurgents, whose number could not be ascertained, fired several shots at the troops from the cover of the head, prompting immediate response from troops. In the ensuing firefight that lasted for about an hour, troops neutralized 2 of the insurgents and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 AK-47 magazine, and 3 rounds of 7.6mm special. Now, troops also recovered 1 Technophone, 3 Hilux and motorcycle keys, wraps of substance suspected to be marijuana, tramadol tablets, and some of 13,200 naira. Unfortunately, in the encounter, some of the rustled livestock used as shield by the insurgents were caught in the crossfire. Now, troops are still on the trail of the fleeing insurgents and remain resolute on ridding the area of armed violence, he said. Nwachukwu said the troops in a separate operation conducted on Wednesday successfully ambushed marauding insurgents along the Badar-Riyawa axis on the Kaduna-Benin-Gwari road. He said the troops neutralized 6 insurgents in the encounter and recovered 2 AK-47 and AK-47 rifles, 300 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition, and 19 motorcycles, which were all destroyed. According to him, intelligence sources are reporting that the notorious bandit kingpin Boderi, who orchestrated many high-profile kidnappings, including the Yori School girls, Greenfield University, and Nigeria Defense Academy attacks, was killed alongside another kingpin, Bodejo, in the ambush. Efforts are on to authenticate this using other means. Members of the public are enjoined to continue to cooperate with the Nigerian Army and other security agencies in the ongoing war against terrorism and insurgency in the country, he added. Well, so they're doing this. Now, I think there is a genuine fight that we all hope, keeping fingers and everything crossed, that it will result in what Nigerians as a whole want. And what is that? Having to live in peace and security, not having issues pertaining to insecurity there. I mean, we know that we cannot rid the country of all that totally. However, it is possible that we can bring it to the barest minimum. Well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Now, another story making the round. Onanuga has charged the EFCC, the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to President Bola Tinubu, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, has called on the Economic and Finance Crimes Commission, the EFCC, and the Central Bank of Nigeria to move against platforms trying to manipulate the naira through crypto exchange platforms, which are in turn contributing to the falling value of the naira. He opined that platforms such as Binance, Aboji Forex, Qcoin, Bybit, and others should not be allowed to operate in the country's cyberspace. Onanuga gave the advice in a post he shared on his X on his X platform handled on Wednesday. He also suggested that crypto channels should be banned in the country. Otherwise, this bleeding of our currency will continue unabated. Now, in the post titled "The Naira Dollar Manipulators," the presidential aide explained how he chanced upon an X post on Tuesday night made by one brother Bernard, who, according to him, rallied against what he called the order of the EFCC, NCA, and finance to set a cap on traders selling US dollars tokens for naira equivalent. According to the presidential aide, Bernard disclosed that the token sellers had migrated to Telegram and were selling naira at 1,850 and above. Calling on the authorities to go after currency manipulators, the presidential aide explained that Binance, which is blatantly setting exchange rate for Nigeria, hijacking CBN role, is a cryptocurrency trading platform which has suffered access limitation from multiple jurisdictions in the US, Singapore, Canada, and the UK. Now, citing Data Wallet, Onanuga said the Binance is prohibited in the United Kingdom by the Financial Conduct Authority from conducting any regulated activities. He continued, in Japan, the Financial Services Agency banned Binance for operating without the necessary regulatory approval. Well, would they be able to do that? Okay, how robust is the technical bit in Nigeria when it comes to IT? How robust? I know that they are very good at it, but when it comes to issues like that, are they able to stop it? Because I bet you, my Nigerians, they are smart. They are smart. My friend would say they are smart asses. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:24 the time. Now, Mr. Gowon, who was one of the founders of ECOWAS as Nigeria's military head of state in May 1975, has expressed his concerns about recent developments in the regional body in an open letter. A former Nigerian head of state, Yakubu Gowon, has asked ECOWAS to lift sanctions imposed on Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. He said all West African leaders should immediately consider the lifting of all sanctions that have been imposed on Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, and Niger. Mr. Gowon, who was one of the founders of the ECOWAS as Nigeria's military head of state in May 1975, expressed his concerns about recent developments in the regional body in an open letter addressed to the heads of states and government of ECOWAS member states. The letter dated 13th of February was seen by some of our correspondents. Following recent coups in West Africa, ECOWAS imposed imposed economic sanctions on countries that had been taken over by military as a deterrent. He said it saddens him to learn that ECOWAS is threatened with disunity following the announcement by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger to withdraw from the super-regional bloc. The three countries announced their withdrawal from ECOWAS on grounds of inhumane and illegal sanctions and went ahead to form a confederation. The impact, Mr. Gowon noted, will have far-reaching implications for the ordinary citizens who have been the major beneficiaries of the regional integration. He also urged the three nations to rescind their decision to withdraw from the bloc. He urged all 15 member states to hold a summit to discuss the future of the community, regional security and stability, as well as the roles of international community given the current geopolitical context. Therefore, on behalf of the founding fathers of the community and myself, in a quote he said, I urge ECOWAS authority of head of states and government, including the leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, to put aside their differences and reunite for the peace, stability, and prosperity of our sub-region, the letter read. Mr. Gowon noted that despite the shortcomings of the sub-regional bloc, ECOWAS has made several major accomplishments, including trade liberalization, the right of West Africans to live legitimately in any country within the community, as well as successful peacekeeping operation. ECOWAS is more than a coalition of states. It is a community established for the good of our people, based on shared history, culture, and tradition. Neither my generation nor present or future generation will understand or forgive the breakup of our community, he has said. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Will the leaders of the community, that's the ECOWAS community or the group, the sub-regional group, reconsider their decisions? Now, let's take it this way. If they reconsider what is happening, doesn't that put wind in the waves or yes, in the sails? That's the right word to use. Wind in the sails of other countries where they think their leaders are not being up to the task, and where people think democracy is not being used the way it's supposed to be, and people think that, well, we can kick our leaders or the government out by coup d'etats or unrest, and would I not encourage them? So, because I know that the sanctions that was placed or imposed on these countries, those four countries, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, was all to serve as deterrent. But has it actually achieved its purpose? And if it's not, what can they do with this statement or this letter that the former leader, head of state of Nigeria, Yakubu Gowon, has sent out to the leaders of ECOWAS? Now, he was one of the co-founders in 1975, May 1975, and is calling them to order, saying, stay there and let's do something about that. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, and it's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A couple of stories and then we'll bring the updates. The president of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, has expressed his administration's commitment to providing excellent healthcare facilities for all Nigerians, saying that it will continue to prioritize domestic and foreign direct investment in the sector. He gave assurance that at the presidential villa yesterday at a meeting with Professor Benedict Orama, president and chairman of the board of directors of the African Export-Import Bank, that is Afrexim Bank, accompanied by a delegation from King's College Hospital in London. Now, President Tinubu welcomed the partnership between Afrexim Bank and the King's College Hospital London to establish a first-rate healthcare facility in Abuja called Africa Medical Center of Excellence, scheduled for completion in 2025. He said We welcome the significant steps towards investing in Nigeria's healthcare sector. This facility is a great commitment to humanity. We are open and ready to assist the project in every way possible. He goes on further to say, Africa is in need, and Nigeria is committed to the needs of its people. Putting people's welfare first is putting healthcare first. The training and development of our people are our priorities, and we thank the King's College Hospital. Yes, King's College Hospital, known for its global reputation for partnering with us. Out of every 5 black person, 1 is a Nigerian. We are racing against time to meet our obligations to our people. This project will further strengthen our long-term vision for the healthcare of our people. We are determined to succeed, and whatever we need in order for us to achieve this project, I want to assure you we will do it. And that is assurance from the president when it comes to investment in the health sector. Listeners, this is Star Radio UK. A final story, and then we move on to other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, that is the ASU, has appealed to the federal government to honor and implement the agreement the union entered with it to forestall industrial action. ASU coordinator in charge of Kano Zone, Mr. Abdul Kader Mohammed, stated this at a news conference at the end of a zonal meeting on Wednesday in Kano. He said the issues included renegotiating of the federal government ASU 2009 agreement reached when the exchange rate to the US dollar was 146 naira as against the current 1,900. Now, Mohammed said the exchange rate has eroded its salaries by 90%. He lamented that the federal government was adamant to sign the draft agreement reached with the union after composition of new leadership of the negotiation committee. Therefore, the union calls on President Bola Tinubu to immediately set in motion the process of upward reviewing and signing of NIMI Breaks Committee renegotiated draft agreement as a mark of goodwill to forestall industrial crisis and restore hope for Nigeria's public universities, he said. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK, the Thursday edition of the morning show. At 11:33, we're going to take a break. Once we come back, we'll take you to other stories making the rounds in Africa this morning. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial. Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa will provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233244941 002 or 00233200606 and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK at exactly 11:35, tittering towards 11:36. And it is the Thursday edition of the morning show. Wherever you are, don't touch the dial as we continue to bring you everything that you need to know when it comes to the stories making the rounds today. As we say, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar is making the headlines. We're going to be touching on that. The Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Jean-Michel Sama Lukonde, has resigned on Tuesday, triggering the dissolution of his government, the presidency said in a statement. Lukonde handed his resignation to President Felix Tshisekedi 8 days after the validation of his mandate as a national deputy. He plans to join parliament after being elected in the country's December polls as a member of assembly representing the Kasenga district. It is a legal requirement in the DRC that 7 ministers are not members of parliament, which means one has to choose whether to remain a legislator or quit to remain in government. Now, in a second statement on Tuesday, the presidency said it had called on Lukonde's government to continue running the country until the formation of a new administration. Now, Lukonde was appointed Prime Minister in February 2021 at the age of 43, following the breakup of alliance between Tshisekedi's coalition and that of former President Joseph Kabila. After Tshisekedi was re-elected in December, he named a representative to identify a majority coalition within the National Assembly in view of forming his next government. According to the provisional results, which must be confirmed by the Constitutional Court, the parties supporting Tshisekedi won almost 94% of the seats in the Assembly. Listeners, this is Star Radio UK, and this is the favorite African Caribbean radio station in London. In other stories making the rounds as well. Authorities in Cape Town launched an investigation on Monday after a foul stench swept over the South African city. And I did say earlier on during the course of the week that, well, the ship has sailed. But sailed to where is a question, but it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in Kenya, Kenyan authorities have taken swift action following a significant raid on a house near Nairobi, resulting in the arrest of the 4 police officers. The operation uncovered 37 Ethiopian nationals believed to be victims of human smuggling and trafficking. Now, reports suggest that the detained Ethiopians were en route to South Africa in pursuit of improved living conditions. Now, this revelation shed light on the pervasive issues of human trafficking and the desperate measures individuals undertake in search of a better life. Now, efforts are underway to identify and apprehend all involved parties, including the owner of the house and the other members of the smuggling ring. The collaboration between law enforcement agencies signals a commitment to combating such criminal activities and ensuring safety and well-being of vulnerable migrants. Now, Kenya is a common transit route for Ethiopian migrants attempting to illegally enter South Africa, according to the UN Migration Agency. The agency says that the migrants, who are mostly men from Ethiopia's Oromia and SNNP regions, enter Kenya through Moyale border point before proceeding to Tanzania and eventually South Africa. Well, listeners, it is Star Radio. Let me say once again good morning to Anthony Adedeji. Thank you very much for your support there as well. Now, the Gowan statement is going around in all other places. Nigeria's Yakubu Gowon, last living founding father of ECOWAS, calls for its rescue. Well, the question is, do you think that if they decide to lift sanctions that have been imposed on these 4 countries, that will bring them, give them the urge to actually sit, and then, or it's going to put wind in the sails of those who think that their government are not performing well and therefore want them out? And that out is not as per elections that goes on. Starr Radio UK. And another story that is making the rounds in Kenya. A Kenyan magistrate on Tuesday ordered the main suspect in a doomsday starvation cult and 94 of his followers to receive emergency care after some of the suspects had to be carried into the courtroom to answer manslaughter charges, too frail and weak to even open their eyes after an apparent hunger strike. At the law courts in the coastal town of Mombasa, the Chief Magistrate Alex Ituku directed Paul Mackenzie, his wife Rhoda Mawiu, and others charged with 238 counts of manslaughter to be escorted to hospital for an immediate doctor's examination. The visibly emaciated suspect pleaded not guilty on all counts, which were read out over 4.5 hours. Doomsday Cult leader Paul Mackenzie and some of his followers have been blamed for the death of 429 members of his Good News International Church, many of whom are believed to have starved themselves in the belief that by doing so they will meet Jesus Christ before the world ends. Now, this took place between January 2021 and September 2023 at Shakahola area in Malindi sub-county within Kilifi County, according to prosecutors. So we have faith. But again, the good book says, to faith, let's add what? Wisdom. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story, then we move on to other stories. One story from Ghana and then to others. A judge in Haiti responsible for investigating the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moise has indicted his widow, Martine Moise, ex-Prime Minister Claude Joseph, and former Chief of Haiti's National Police, Leon Charles, among others, according to a report obtained yesterday, on Monday. Now, the commando who killed the late Haitian President Jovenel Moise in cahoot with relatives of his. That's a question that is being posed. The judge stated in his report that Martine Moise suggested she took refuge under the marital bed to protect herself from the attackers, but he noted that authorities at the scene found that not even a giant rat whose size measures between 35 and 45 centimeters could fit under the bed. Whoops. So the judge said the former First Lady's statement were so tainted with contradictions that they leave something to be desired and discredit her. Now, dozens of suspects were indicted in the 122-page report as Prime Minister Claude Joseph and the former Chief of Haiti's National Police, Leon Charles, who is Haiti's 7 representatives to the Organization of the American States, are among them. Now, Charles could not be immediately reached for comment. Martine Moise's attorney did not return a message for comment. Joseph, however, shared a statement with some news network undermining their investigation on benefiting from the president's death. Henry is weaponizing the Haitian justice system, prosecuting political opponents like me. It is a classic coup d'etat, Joseph said. They failed to kill me, Martine Moise, on July 7th, 2021, and now they are using the Haitian justice system to advance their Machiavellian agenda. Now, Joseph again called on Henry to resign and noted that while he was still Prime Minister, he invited the FBI to help local authorities to investigate the killing and wrote the UN and OAS for help. I won't stop my fight, Justice must be served, he said. But that's quite interesting. So he said you hid underneath your bed, and that's why, and then people come to your home to investigate, and they could see that this is like those beds, I mean, where the space is not, in my bedroom, the base, you say you hid yourself, the space there is about that. So even a rat could not fit in that place. Quite interesting. Is she an accomplice? If she was, then what else? Now, one story from Ghana, and then we'll move on. Anti-corruption body Ghana Integrity Initiative is warning of an imminent threat of proceeds of serious and organized crimes infiltrating Ghanaian politics. The local chapter of the Transparency International, together with its collaborators on this fight, the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition and the Africa Center for Energy Policy, fear this has the potential of compromising Ghana's democratic credentials. The caution comes after widely reported monetary inducements that characterized the presidential and parliamentary primaries of Ghana's two largest political parties, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress. At a day's workshop held to galvanize the support of community and political youth leaders, the Ghana Integrity Initiative reiterated how politicians stand exposed to the trappings of organized illicit and criminal intentioned elements ready to fund political campaigns in return for corrupt favors. Now, fundraising manager for the GII, Michael Boedi, asked participants to be alert to a series of activities including narcotic drug trade, illegal mining, money laundering, and other transborder criminal organizations wielding commercial and political ideologies, working in close-knitted cartels and operated in sustained continuity, usually with threats and force to achieve their illegitimate financial and non-financial objectives. There is considerable studies that shows that the cost of political campaigns in Ghana is rising. Between 2016 and 2020, the increase was about 59%. The question is, where these people get that money from? In this part of the world, financing, everything has to be captured. And the electoral body, the electoral commission here, will see to it. They will investigate, and then they will edit or audit the statements or the accounts of the various political parties. And this is a case where even the former prime minister, he got somebody to fund the renovation of his apartment at 10 Downing Street, and even that costs an uproar. But talk less when people are financing, big hooks. So the opposition, before government comes into power or before an individual gets in there, they are compromised. So they have to turn their eyes from whatever is happening, because those are people who have funded their campaigns. He said there is a considerable studies that show that the cost of political campaigns in Ghana rising between 2016 and 2020. The increase was 59%. It jumped from a little over 300,000 US dollars to 693,000 to elect a member of parliament. That is how much. So where are these people getting these monies from? So the moment they come in, they need to compromise. They need to, the first position, they are already compromised. They need to, go through all scrupulous means to make this money and maybe pay their debts. Now, Mr. Buedi, okay, now consider the fact that if you take an MP salary of some 20,000 Ghana cedi a month, it will take about 3 years and 4 months to pay off that debt. By the 3.5 month time, the MP will be headed into another election and will be contesting primaries around that time. So how are they able to fund the election? He questioned. So they come in, boom, 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 boom. They are building houses. They are doing all sorts. How are they able to do that? Behind the scenes, we have people who are manipulating. And well, as the anti-corruption body is saying, Ghana Integrity Initiative, I bet you it is about time that we set up, because by the time we see Jack, everything has been compromised. I need to speed up. My apologies for that. Let me bring you one other story. Well, it's still trending towards okay. Interesting. I'm seeing some interesting story here, but let me bring you this one, a quick one. The Kremlin has accused Joe Biden of attempting to appear like Hollywood cowboy after the US president called Vladimir Putin a crazy sap. Mr. Biden made the comment at a public fundraising event on Wednesday in California, warning about the threat of nuclear conflict. In response, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov called it a poor attempt to appear like a Hollywood cowboy. Now, he added that such vocabulary debases America itself. In a brief speech in San Francisco, Mr. Biden said, "We have a crazy sop like that guy, Putin, and others. We always have to worry about nuclear conflict, but the existential threat to humanity is climate." It is not the first time the U.S. president has used the offensive term. In a hot mic slip in 2022, Mr. Biden called a Fox News journalist a son of a bitch. Oh, I didn't say that. Well, he also called Mr. Putin a butcher and a war criminal in the past. The Kremlin spokesman said it was unlikely to infringe on our president, President Putin, but it debases those who use such vocabulary. Mr. Peskov said the remarks was probably some kind of attempt to look like a Hollywood cowboy. Honestly, I don't think it's possible. Has Mr. Putin ever used one crude word to address you? This has never happened. Therefore, I think that such vocabulary debases America itself, he added. Listeners, this is Star Radio UK. One final story, and we can actually bring the program to a close. But warning about over flooding as heavy rain lashes UK, so be warned wherever you might be. The House of Parliament was a spectacle yesterday, and as a result of that, the Common Speaker is facing accusation he played party politics by granting a vote on Labour's Gaza ceasefire motion. Sir Lindsay Hall broke with convention to allow the vote during a debate, sparking fury from SNP and Conservative MPs. He said he allowed the vote on to protect MPs' safety, but it saw the Commons descend into acrimony. Mr. Lindsay later apologized but still faces calls to resign. The movement, Labour's MPs could call for ceasefire without backing differently worded SNP motion, limiting a potential Labour rebellion. The Health Minister, Maria Caulfield, claimed the decision was made under undue pressure from Labour and accused Sir Lindsay of putting party politics above its obligation as Speaker to be impartial. My apologies. This has been denied by both Labour and a source close to the Speaker. Some 56 Tory and SNP MPs have signed a motion declaring they have no confidence in Sir Lindsay, who is due to meet parties for clear the air talks. The row erupted during a debate allocated to the Scottish National Party, during which they are allowed to put forward a motion to debate and vote. The SNP tabled a motion calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza and calling for an end to the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. Labour, which has shifted its stance on the conflict on recent days, tabled an amendment that also backed an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, but also noted that Israel cannot be expected to cease fighting if Hamas continues with violence. Sir Lindsay broke with tradition on such Commons debate by allowing a vote on Labour's amendment to the SNP's motion. After the Conservatives then said they wouldn't take part, Labour's motion was passed, meaning a standalone vote on the SNP wording couldn't take place. Explaining his decision, Sir Lindsay said he wanted to give MPs the chance to vote on the widest range of propositions and was also concerned about threats to MP security over the issue. But he was accused of allowing the vote to be hijacked by Labour, with some SNP and Tory MPs walking out in protest. Sakir suffered a major revolt over Gaza in November when 56 of his MPs, including 10 front benchers, defied him to back an SNP motion urging an immediate ceasefire. In a statement after the debate, SNP Minister, Westminster leader Stephen Flynn said Sir Lindsay had colluded with Labour's leader Sir Keir Starmer to block Parliament voting on the SNP motion. Now, speaking on Thursday, Labour campaign coordinator Pat McFadden acknowledged that the party leader Sir Keir had lobbied Sir Lindsay before the debate to allow a vote in Labour's motion. By the denied report, Labour had threatened to withdraw support from the Speaker after election unless he allowed the vote, adding that Sir Lindsay had acted in good faith. He blamed the Conservative decision not to take part in the debate for a vote of the SNP wording not taking place, accusing them of trying to avoid a rebellion from their own MPs. This was denied by the Health Minister Maria Caulfield, who added that Sir Lindsay's decision meant MPs from her party could face criticism not backing the SNP motion. He took the threats to Labour's MPs seriously, but no consideration of what would happen to Conservative MPs. Well, so what do you think is happening there? And what do you think? You think he should stand down? He's been one of the strong hands in there. You know, he's been cracking the whip, as is said. But what do you think is going to happen on that platform? Well, listen to this. This is Starr Radio UK. This is the Thursday edition of the morning show. And this is where I bring the program to a close for today. As I said, well. Tomorrow I'll be bringing you the Friday edition of the morning show. That will also finish at 12 o'clock. There are some works going on, and that is why we are doing all that. But let me salute each and every one of you, Anthony Adedeji, and all of you behind the scenes. You know, there are those behind the scenes, they won't let you see them, but they are there listening. And I salute each and every one of you. And to my able producer, Mr. Francis Gaye, and to all of you who joined in this morning to listen to us on Starr Radio UK, I say once again, we love you to bits. Have a lovely day. Until I come your way tomorrow, it's been me, Archie, saying top of the day to you. Bye-bye for now. And as we say on this platform, may Nigeria not happen to you. Enjoy.
$10 and one man no get. Hey, hey, hey. 10 men share $10 and one man no get. It's a disgrace.
Thanks for listening.
Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar? Give gorilla bananas to give